If you've ever thought about making extra money online without risking any of your own money or selling some rubbish product, then you're going to love matched betting. In this mini free masterclass, I'm going to show you exactly how to make your first £100 from matched betting. Then later, we'll get onto common mistakes, FAQs, and tips on scaling your first 100 to your first 1,000. Sound good? Let's get into it. So what actually is matched betting? Matched betting works by covering all possible outcomes of a bet to create a situation where we don't lose money regardless of the real life outcome. This works by taking advantage of odds discrepancies, offers, and other value offered by bookmakers. Now, it's really important that you understand that matched betting is not gambling. With gambling, you're taking a risk to potentially win money. With matched betting, we're using basic maths to remove all elements of risk and guarantee yourself a profit. Bookmakers are constantly giving out offers and free bets to attract new customers, and as match bettors, we're here to take advantage of them. Now, how profitable is match betting in 2025? Well, despite efforts from bookmakers to clamp down on welcome offers, match betting remains one of the most popular and lucrative side hustles in the UK. If you take match betting seriously, you can easily make £300 to £600 in your first week just from welcome offers. After that, if you use those accounts to take advantage of ongoing promotions, it's not uncommon for match bettors to make £500 to £2,000 per month in profits using other techniques. The best part is you can do it all on your own terms, as little or as often as you like. Anyway, why should you listen to me, just a random guy on the internet? Well, a few years ago, I was in your position. I imagine you're just aimlessly scrolling Instagram looking for money-making techniques online, not sure who to trust. I was in the same position as you, placing random accas, guesswork on weekends, and yeah, it's fun in moderation, but it can quickly get out of hand. Every Saturday, I would think I could beat the bookies, and that's until I discovered matched betting. I stumbled across matched betting one day and gave it a go. I made my very first £100 within just a couple of days, and the rest is history. Over the last 5 years, I've made over £30,000 from sustainable matched betting techniques that go way beyond sign-up offers. It's fair to say that matched betting has completely transformed my life and allowed me to live a life I never expected. Now I help others do exactly the same. I'm one of the owners of the Match Betting Club community, which has helped over 2,000 people earn a tax-free side income to pay for holidays, cars, or even house deposits. By the end of this free course, you'll know exactly how match betting works, how to place your first bet, how to make your first £100, and the common mistakes that most people fall into. You'll know exactly how to avoid them. Whether you're just looking for a little bit of cash on the side, or whether you're wanting to turn this into a proper side income, you're in the right place. Now, hopefully you understand how profitable match betting can be. But before we go any further, it's important that you understand how it actually works. But don't worry, it's super simple. In our community, we see it all the time. The number one reason why people fail at match betting is they fail to understand the basics. By understanding this, it will make the rest a lot easier. Match betting works by covering all possible outcomes of an event to lock in guaranteed profit, or at very worst, breaking even. Take this for an example. So here is an example of an arbitrage bet, which is a very simple type of matched bet. Now, the word arbitrage actually means taking advantage of different prices, or in this case, different odds. And that is exactly what we are doing. So as you can see here, on the left, we have Sky Bet, and on the right, we have Bet365. In both bets, we're betting on Portugal shots. Now, on the left, we are betting on Portugal to have 16 plus shots, which means 16 or more. On the right, we're betting on Portugal to have under 15.5 shots, which means 15 or less. They just call it 15.5 to avoid any confusion as to whether it includes or excludes 15. So as you can see, regardless of how many shots Portugal have, one of these bets has to win. If they have 1 to 15 shots, Sky wins on the left. And if they have 16 or more shots, Bet365 wins. In this outcome, Portugal finished on 17 shots and the Sky bet won. As for the profit, our total outlay was the stakes combined, so 44 plus 100 is £144. Now, the winning bet, as you can see, returned £264, meaning our total profit was the difference, a huge £120 profit. If Bet365 had won, we would have broken even and lost no money at all. It is really that simple. Anyway, back to the video. A key tool to help match bettors are betting exchanges. Now, here's a very brief overview on how betting exchanges work. Instead of betting against the house or a bookmaker, you can bet against another user of the platform, like you or I. You can choose to bet on something, that's known as backing, or you can choose to bet against something, That's called laying. Take this as an example of an exchange bet. So for the purposes of this video, the exchange I'm going to be using is Smarkets, but other exchanges are available too. And don't worry, I'm going to explain this as simple as I possibly can. So after creating an account and loading up the website, this is what it looks like. Now, a couple of things to point out here. If we navigate to a race here, all of these down the left-hand side are different horses running in this race. The green boxes are for backing a bet, like we just mentioned, and the blue boxes are for laying a bet, so betting on something to not happen. Backing works in the exact same way as a normal bet. So if we put £10 in here at odds of 2.38, we can expect a return of £23.80, like normal. Now, as I mentioned previously, the principle of an exchange is you are betting against another individual, like you or I, rather than against a bookmaker, so there are no margins. This also means whatever the other person bets and wins, you have to pay them, and whatever you bet and win, they have to pay you. So until the bet settles, you don't know who's going to win. So you both have a liability until it settles. So we can see that in action if we move over to a lay bet here, one of the blue bets. So this bet against conjecture would win if any other outcome happens other than conjecture winning the race. So we're betting against conjecture to win the race. Now, if we type in £10 here, we can see we have what's called a liability of £13.60, like I just mentioned. So I'm going to bet against somebody else, and if they win, I'm going to pay them £13.60. Now, the thing that confuses people the most is this word here, stake. When you bet on a bookie, you type in an amount and they tell you how much you could win based on that stake. When you place a lay bet on an exchange, it is the opposite. You type in the amount you want to win, so £10, and they tell you what your outlay needs to be in order to win that £10. So here, £13.60. It'll become much clearer when I show you a real match betting example in a moment. So here we have a bet on Archivist to win the race on Bet365 at odds of 6-4. An outlay of £12.50 returns £31.25. If the horse wins the race, this bet will win. Now down here we have Smarkets, like I just showed you. To cover all potential outcomes, we need to place a bet that wins if the horse fails to win the race. That way, whichever position the horse finishes, one of these two bets will win. We can do that by laying the horse. Now remember, a lay bet is betting on something to not happen. Now here we've got the blue side. If we lay the horse to win at odds of 2.06, our outlay is £13.25 liability down here. If the horse fails to win the race, this bet will return £25.75. By quickly doing the maths, we can see our outlay is £13.25, the liability, plus £12.50, which was our stake on Bet365. That's £25.75. We can also see that we're going to get back either £25.75, the return on Smarkets, or £31.25, the return on Bet365. At very least in this situation, we will break even if the horse fails to win the race. However, if the horse goes on to win, we will profit the difference, which is £5.50. Now, these opportunities are fairly common, so we can stack small repeatable wins like this £5.50. Anyway, back to the video. To do this properly, here are the tools you'll need. An account with a bookmaker, an account with an exchange, and a notifier of match betting opportunities, such as a community, but more on that later. These tools help to calculate everything for you and identify the best offers. Now, hopefully you understand the core mechanic behind match betting, placing a back bet, placing a lay bet, and using the difference to unlock free bets. Now that you understand the basics, it's time to make some money. In this video, I'm going to walk you through placing your very first match bet, even if you've never placed a bet before. The fastest way to make your first £100 is by completing 3 or 4 new customer offers and using those accounts to place other types of matched bet. Those offers can be things like bet 10 get 10 or bet £10 get £30 in free bets, but it's important that you know how to take advantage of them. You need to place a small qualifying bet to unlock the free bets and then use matched betting to turn those into a cash profit. If we repeat that a couple of times, you've easily made well over £100. We're currently working on bringing walkthroughs to Match Betting Club for over 50 bookmaker and online casino offers, such as the following one: walkthroughs showing you exactly how to turn free bets into cash, maximizing your ROI from bookmakers you might not have even ever heard of. So I'm going to walk you through how a matched bettor should approach a new customer offer. Now, nearly every bookmaker out there has some sort of new customer offer, so you should never open a betting account without opting into the promotion first. But be aware, they often change up their offers from time to time, and some are better than others. Now, the example I'm going to go through today is Betfred, but the steps I explain are repeatable and they're applicable to every type of offer. So Betfred's new customer offer at the moment is £50 in free bets when you bet £10. I would always recommend reading the small print and stuff before signing up so you know exactly what you need to do. This one is relatively straightforward. Deposit £10, place a £10 bet at odds of evens or greater, and then be credited with 5 £10 free bets. 3 can be used on any sports bet and 2 to be used on accumulators. It's also worth pointing out that the accumulator must have 4 or more selections. Easy. So I'm going to hit claim here and then go through all the personal details sections, and I'll be back when we are through to the other side. Okay, so I'm nearly through to the end now, and it's just worth pointing out that you should check that the promo code has been applied here, because if not, you won't be entitled to the free bets. Okay, so I've just deposited £10 with a debit card like we said, and now it's time to find our first qualifying bet. Now, a qualifying bet is a bet that you place so you can qualify for the promotion. So in this case, we need to bet £10 at minimum odds of 2.0 in order to unlock the free bets. I'm also going to switch the odds format to decimals just so it's easier to compare in the next step. So now it's time to place our qualifying bet. I would always recommend doing this with horse racing, as there are races all the time and lots of horses to choose from. I've chosen this horse here, Percy Shelley, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, the race is about an hour from now, so we have time to run through this, but also because of the odds. I would always recommend choosing a horse with odds between 4 and 7, as these will always give you the best results. Now, you might be thinking, if this horse loses, we're down £10 already. But that's where matched betting comes in. We're going to use a betting exchange to ensure we take as small loss as possible in order to unlock the free bets. This is known as a qualifying loss. So I'm going to hop over to Smarkets and put them side by side just so we can compare. On the left we've got Betfred and on the right we've got Smarkets. Now the Betfred bet wins if Percy Shelley wins the race, but we need to cover for if Percy Shelley doesn't win the race. So we're going to need to lay Percy Shelley, which is the blue side here. Now you're going to want to make the return the same on both bets. That way, regardless of the outcome, we're going to get our £45 back. So it's a little bit of trial and error, and it's going to be around £9.19 is close enough. So our total outlay in this situation is going to be the £10 on Betfred here and the liability of $35.84 down here. Remember, it's the liability, not the stake on a betting exchange. That is our outlay. If you're unsure, go back to the second part of this mini masterclass and re-watch the exchange video. So that's a total of £45.84 outlay, and we know we're going to get back 45 or 45. So with a bit of basic maths, we can work out that we are going to lose 84 pence regardless of the outcome of the race. That is known as our qualifying loss. So I'm going to hit place on both of these right now, and I'll be back in 1 hour's time when the race has settled. So the race has finished, and as you can see, our horse lost, but that's fine. We guaranteed ourselves only an 84 pence loss in the last bit. So the good news is we have now unlocked our free bets. Now, since I recorded the last section, I was required to verify my identity just by uploading some documents. So you may or may not be required to do the same before you're credited with your free bets. Sometimes they ask, sometimes they don't. So all we're going to do now is to more or less repeat the process again. So I have another horse here. We're going to go with Warren Nabool, something like that. Once again, it's in our odds range, which we like, and we are going to use our free bets on this. So we may as well use the full £30 because we've got 30 on sport and we've got 20 on ACCAs, which we'll come to later. Now, as you can see, this returns 90. So we're going to hop over to our best friends Smarkets, put them side by side so you can see we've got our £30 free bet here. Make sure you tick this box, which returns £90. Then we're going to get the same horse here. Remember, the blue side is lay. Here's one I prepared earlier. We've got £21.43 in there to return £90. Now remember, this is a lay bet, so this will win if the horse fails to win the race. This one will win if the horse wins the race, so we're covering all outcomes. Remember, we always want to make our returns the same, so mine is 90. and we can see our outlay is our liability here, £68.57. Now, as these are free bets, these are not our real money, that's the only outlay, £68.57. So I'm going to hit place on both of these, and there we have it. So our £68.57 will return £90 regardless of whether the horse wins the race or not. So doing the maths quickly, and we will make a nice profit of £21.43. That leaves us with 2 bets to use on accumulators. We're still going to be using SmartKits, but this one is slightly different. Now, if you remember back when we were reading the terms and conditions for this offer, we know it's got to be minimum 4 selections. So I've added 4 teams down the side here. I've picked Arsenal, Osasuna, Aston Villa and Getafe. The reason I've gone for that is because it's around 5.63 odds. Now, as you'll see in a moment, if we went for any higher odds, the liability, so our outlay on SmartKits, will be much higher. This one is manageable. So we're going to stick our £20 free bets there, tick the box, put it in accumulator, because that's the type of bet we want to place. And as we can see, that returns £92.59. Once again, back over to our best friend SmartKits. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add all 4 of these teams with the green boxes this time. So we're going to add Arsenal first, then add Osasuna, then Aston Villa. Now I just want to point out, if you're doing this on mobile, you might be required to click add to multiple on your bet slip. That way you can create an accumulator. And finally, Getafe down there. So as you can see, I've put the green side. I've gone 4, 4, 4, 4 on all of our 4 teams. Then, because it's a multiple, we're not betting on these teams individually. You're going to go down here, and yours might default to buy, highlighted green. We're going to click sell. Now, as you know, sell is the same as lay, and we're placing a lay bet. This wins here if all 4 of these teams win. And now this wins if any of these teams lose. So if the ACCA's a loser, then our SmartKits bet wins. If the ACCA's a winner, our free bets on Betfred win. So again, we're going to want to make the returns the same, £92.59, £9.85 to return £92.58. So those are about as close as we can get. Now our liability down here is £82.73. And similar to the last example, this is not a true outlay. This is not real money, not ours, all the bookies' money. So our outlay is just £82.73. So I'll hit place on this one, and I'll place this one too. Make sure, double check you're on sell. And the difference between our outlay of £82.73 and our return of £92.59 leaves us with around just under £10 profit, regardless of whether the ACCA wins or not. So before any of those races or matches finish, we can work out that between the £9.86 from that and the £21.43 from the horse earlier, we've just locked in £31.29. Now we just play the waiting game. We wait for all those bets to settle, and it's either going to be in our Betfred balance or our SmartKits balance. Then you can withdraw the cash to your bank account and enjoy the fruits of our labour. Now, I would follow those guidelines for any welcome offer that gives you free bets. The same process of backing and laying applies every time. I'm going to complete a few more welcome offers using the exact same methodology off camera, and I'll be back with a few more accounts. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the fastest way to make £100 is by completing 3 or 4 welcome offers and using those accounts to place other types of matched bet. Off camera, I completed a few more welcome offers, including Bet365 and Paddy Power. Bet365's offer was £30 in free bets, and Paddy Power's was 150 free spins. Now that I have a core base of accounts, I'm going to show you how to use those for other match betting methods. The coming up example is an example of an arbitrage bet, like I showed you in part 2 of this masterclass. So I just received a notification from the Match Betting Club community of an arbitrage opportunity, so I'll go ahead and place that now. Now I'm recording this before the start of the season, hence the Champions League qualifying match, but we've got Ludogorets to qualify over on Bet365 and Ferencvaros to qualify over on Paddy Power. This is to qualify for the next round, not to win in 90 minutes, so it's impossible for it to be a draw. Now this is quite a mainstream market, so I'm comfortable placing a slightly higher stake than I probably usually would. £100 on Paddy Power returns £150, and a £50 stake on Bet365 returns £162.50. Therefore, if Ludogorets qualify for the next round, I will profit £12.50. If Ferencvaros take the win, I will break even. Of course, you could manipulate your stake in order to secure a profit regardless of the outcome, but I fancy my chances on this one. The pot is now almost up to £100 with honestly hardly any work, as you've seen, so we can stop the stopwatch there. I'll also go ahead and place the next match betting opportunity that I received from Match Betting Club, which should hopefully tip us over the edge. I hope you found this mini tutorial helpful, and I'll be answering any of your guys' questions down in the comments. My number one tip is to track your results from day one. It's a perfect habit to get into. Tracking all of your bets helps you to remember which bookmakers you've used, but also visualize your profit building up. We've created this free spreadsheet which will be linked below somewhere, which you can download for free or copy, which is perfect to input your bets. You now have the blueprint to get you started, but this is just the beginning. Once you've completed all the easy welcome offers, there's a whole host of ongoing offers, reload bets, bet clubs, and other match betting techniques that I've yet to get into. In the next video, I'll show you exactly how to stay under the radar and protect your accounts so you can keep on making money in the long term. See you in the next video. My number one tip is to track your results from day one. It's a perfect habit to get into. Tracking all of your bets helps you to remember which bookmakers you've used, but also visualize your profit building up. We've created this free spreadsheet which will be linked below somewhere, which you can download for free or copy, which is perfect to input your bets. You now have the blueprint to get you started, but this is just the beginning. Once you've completed all the easy welcome offers, there's a whole host of ongoing offers, reload bets, bet clubs, and other match betting techniques that I've yet to get into. To continue making money in the long term, it's important that you stay under the radar, keep your accounts healthy, and avoid being gubbed. This is a mistake I made when starting out. As discussed in the first video, match betting breaks no rules and is completely legal, but bookmakers hate it because you're not supposed to win. Now, what does the term gubbed actually mean? Essentially, it's when bookmakers exclude you from promotions and apply limits to the amounts you can bet. You can still place bets, but often at a much lower stake, maybe only a couple of pounds. They do this when they spot betting patterns that look like match betting, such as only taking advantage of high value offers or always laying off betting positions. But the good news is, with a few simple habits, we can delay or avoid this for months or even years. Here are a couple of my top tips to keep your account nice and healthy. So firstly, place mug bets. Every now and then, place a bet without laying it off. Think of this as like a tax on your winnings. After all, match betting profits are tax-free. A £2 acca or a £5 bet on match results help to disguise you as a regular punter, which goes a very long way. Secondly, keep your stakes sensible. You may be thinking, if I can stake £10 to make 5, then surely I can stake 1,000 to make 500. Well, in short, yes, but you'll almost certainly be gubbed afterwards. It's also a good idea to keep your stakes low just in case you make a mistake. That way, it's not an expensive one. I go into much more detail about account longevity techniques in the full course, but that's just a whistle-stop tour. Now, if you do get gubbed, don't worry. There's another 40 plus bookmakers out there. Even after gubbing, some accounts will still give you high value promotions that you can take advantage of. Another thing is, they may limit you from their sportsbook services, but you can still use their casino services, which will have different offers. But my number one piece of advice in this area would be, don't limit yourself to 1 or 2 bookies. Keep on building your portfolio, open new accounts, and keep on taking advantage of those ever so lucrative welcome offers. Finally, to keep everything organized, I recommend you use a dedicated email address for match betting, and also keeping a running spreadsheet of each bookmaker, how much you made from their welcome offer, and which ones remain. Looking after your accounts is just as, if not more important than placing the bets themselves. These tips may seem small, but they can go a long way towards helping you make hundreds, if not thousands of pounds profit, rather than just a quick 100 quid cash grab. If you've made it this far, firstly, thank you, but also hopefully you've made your very first bit of match betting profit. That's where most people get lazy and give up, but that's where Match Betting Club comes in. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to scale. Turn your first £100 into your first £1,000 profit. Match betting is all about stacking repeatable offers. We've already seen welcome offers, which are the easiest, but next come bet clubs, reloads, extra place offers, in-plays, price boosts, 2-ups, casino offers, the list goes on. Each one being a different match betting method. The more methods you learn, the more offers you have to cycle through. Firstly, in your first 2 to 3 weeks, I would complete 5 to 6 welcome offers, giving you a core base of bookmaker accounts to apply the methods which I've just listed. In your first month, I would also incorporate price boosts and reload offers to your arsenal, which have the ability to make you another £200 to £300 per month. In second and third month, I would learn in-play arbitrage, bet clubs, and extra places offers. Now these are a little bit more complicated, but they really do have the ability to make another £400 to £500 per month. Beyond that, I would repeat this whole cycle again. Open some new accounts and start from the very beginning. If you put in just a few hours per week and remain consistent, these numbers are very, very achievable. Many Match Betting Club members are doing way more, I promise. It's important to approach match betting with the right mindset. There are 3 mindset shifts that you need to have when starting out. Firstly, treat it like a system, not a gamble. Trust the process and trust the maths. Do you remember all that time ago in the very first video when I told you match betting is not gambling? Well, don't treat it like it is. Secondly, be consistent. Don't try to complete every offer. There's no need, you won't be able to, and you'll probably get gubbed if you do. Completing just 2 to 3 high value offers per week will really add up. Third and finally, keep learning. Most people plateau at £200 to £300 per week because they stop learning new techniques. Follow the system and the blueprint that I've given you and you'll be absolutely fine. You've now seen an insight into the world of match betting and just how profitable it can be. So what's your next steps? Well, firstly, I would complete some more welcome offers. Secondly, I would incorporate some more advanced match betting strategies such as boost, bet clubs, reloads, all that good stuff I mentioned earlier in this video. Thirdly, I would join some sort of community or system that provides you with regular support, guidance, and match betting opportunities. That's where Match Betting Club come in. We do all the hard work for you. From researching the best offers to finding the most profitable angles, we also provide 24/7 support from myself and the other admins inside the channel. It's also a great community to be a part of if you're just looking for some general football, chat, or banter. If you're serious about turning this into some serious cash, that's your next step.